Good afternoon, US. Good evening, UK, and welcome to Paranormal Path Peeps. And today we have a special guest, Rachel Farrow. How are you doing?
Hiya, good to be here, and thanks for asking me, Jackie.
No, it's lovely to speak to you. I met you a few years ago. We're doing development together.
We certainly were. Met online, didn't we?
That's right. We about lockdown. I'm getting tongue
Lockdown,
tied here.
yeah.
About lockdown time, we're online. We're doing Zoom calls and we're doing mediumship. And you've gone on so much further than that, haven't
Oh,
you?
it's
You're
been a
doing really
whirlwind.
well.
The last couple of years has absolutely been a whirlwind. I've got to say, my life has changed quite dramatically, in the last 2 years, definitely. Yeah.
That's brilliant. So we won't mention that now.
No.
But what we're looking at is where the paranormal or the spirit side actually started for you, because everyone's got their own journey, everyone's got their own path.
Yeah.
So, what age did it all start for you? What was
Oh,
it?
well, I guess for me, I didn't see it as paranormal to start with, and actually, I didn't see it as paranormal for a long time. But I was a child when I first saw spirit, and I used to see this old lady sat on the stairs. Every time I went upstairs, nobody else in the house saw her, and she was always there when I wanted to come down. And you can imagine as a child wanting to pass an old lady that nobody else could see on the
Wow.
stairs was quite a frightening experience for me. And she stayed with me for quite some time.
Wow.
But yeah, that was definitely one of the first that I remember. And I also remember seeing things in my bedroom doorway. And I shared a bedroom with my sister at the time. She never saw anything either. So yeah, I guess that's where it all started.
But how did you know that you could see this and nobody else could? Because it's a bit strange, well, isn't it? Like, as a
It's a,
child, do you accept
yeah.
it? But
Um, I
then,
think
yeah.
I think for me, I was quite lucky. Although I didn't know till I was an adult. And my dad actually saw spirit. He didn't say anything to many people. And
Wow.
I was quite gobsmacked, if you like, when I actually broached the subject with him not that long ago. And yeah, then we started to chat about it. But as a child, no, I felt quite lonely. Really, I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it. But also, I guess it's the whole, you've got an imaginary friend scenario, isn't it? So
That's the one, isn't it? And it
yeah,
was then because people didn't talk about it.
no,
You see,
no,
my nephew had an imaginary friend, a lady called Ellis.
yeah,
Whether that was a surname, and even to this day is what is he? He's 24, 23 now. And
mm.
yet this day, he did have an imaginary friend.
Yeah,
And
and
nowadays more than anything, people are saying that is potentially spirit. People are
potentially,
becoming
yeah.
more open about it, aren't they?
Most definitely, I've noticed that as well. It's so many people are more interested, not just in the paranormal, but with spiritualism as a whole. Is people are getting more and more into it. Definitely.
Yeah, that's right. And oh my gosh, I'm so fascinated. And it's most haunted what did it to me, and I got on really late. I jumped onto the
Mm.
bandwagon and my interest in it, and I think I always would have been too scared to see anything.
Not quite as late as me though, Jackie.
No, no, but you began at an early age, you did.
Yeah, yeah,
No, from the
yeah.
spirit side, I didn't even believe in mediumship.
Did you not?
No, I really didn't. Even though I'd encountered things what I was living with, I lived in a pub and things happened. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, okay, whatever. But I, I just kind of, passed it off
Yeah.
as, something fell, something this, something that.
And you do, and sometimes people still do that, don't they? That
Yeah, that's right.
they won't accept um, anything that's in front of them. They just look for the obvious, or they're just totally oblivious to that it's happened in the first place. Just don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I think oblivious is a good one.
Yeah,
If I did actually think it was anything, maybe I would have been scared.
mm. Yeah.
And back in the day, I would have been scared. There's no
Mm.
two ways about it.
But I think as well, especially for me coming from the spiritual side rather than the paranormal side, um, you do form an initial fear, and then you
Yeah.
sort of just carry on with it. It's strange, really, because the next thing that I truly remember was probably my teenage years when I started to dabble with things like the Ouija board and watching all the films like Freddy Krueger and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
and that the bit in between there, I don't recall much happening at all. So yeah, and I think a lot of people probably relate to that because unfortunately, when you see spirit or sense spirit from a child, life seems to take hold of you, and you just do the expected, and that's where
Yeah.
so many of us lose that ability to be able to connect to spirit.
Yeah, that's it. Because I didn't, and I always said I needed a brick to hit me before I realised it was there. I even had a
Yeah.
conversation with a bed, and this was at the Sheffield Fire Museum, Emergency Museum. And there I was talking to a bed. I got two people behind me who could see spirit. And I was talking to this prisoner on the bed and was going, hello, can you do something? What's he doing now? He's looking at you. And it's like, well, come on, where are you? Come on, I want to see you. What's he
Yeah.
doing now? He's laughing at you. And I
I
was
know, and
getting
it's quite unnerving,
commentary
isn't
from,
it?
yeah, I was getting running commentary from them.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It's just, it is odd, isn't it? But,
It
oh,
is.
wow, once you become engrossed in it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose my love for the paranormal, my journey sort of took me. I was hunting out people, if you like, to sort of try and help me. I had a sad event happen in my 30s,
Right.
and I think a lot of people can relate to this as well. Trauma can really set mediumship off, and that definitely was the case for me. I had
Yeah.
quite a big shock at that age.
Oh, bless you.
Um, and I actually thought I was going mad because it came at me like a steam train, literally, to the point where I was laying in bed at night and I could hear chattering around the room, and I was like, I'm going crazy, And some of the things that I could tell you, I don't think many people would believe.
I don't know,
Um,
because a lot of people here,
yeah,
everyone's got the story and things like that. And I kind of found that mediumship first found me just
mm,
before my mum passed.
yeah. And so
So
again, it's a
it
traumatic.
came into my life before that.
Yeah,
That sort of naturally ran its course, and that session finished, and then Barry John came along. He did
mm,
mediumship, and that's when I lost my dad. And it was just, and even on the morning that I was losing my dad, and he was in respite and all that, but I was with him that particular day. We'd had a call. We'd
mm.
gone. Barry went, "Are you okay?" And he just randomly messaged me out the blue, and
Oh,
it's like, wow, and oh gosh,
mm.
it's amazing, and
And it's amazing that what he's talking about because like I really do believe that people come into your life at different points of your life and you leave people
definitely,
behind. And that's not to say you fall out with people or anything, but people are there for a reason. I mean,
that's right.
I used to run a pub for a living. I very
So
quickly
did I. Yeah,
oh, within hours, I knew I was not alone in that pub, and I developed quite a fear. But I met somebody there. I don't know if she's in tonight, but I won't say anything just yet. But you know who you are. And we used to sit at night as two young people, like praying to see something happen in the pub. And of course, that would never happen until I actually went to bed. Because, like as you know, and we all know, we don't have spirit on demand. As much as we want to do, as much as we like to think we can get them to come, they'll come when they're ready. It's as simple as that.
that's right. Yeah,
But yeah, it's been a long journey for me, to be honest. It's not something that happened for me overnight to get where I am now.
that's right.
It's been a
Yeah,
strange and a long journey, and I've met so many fabulous people on the way.
and this has happened very recently, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah, like
So,
public very recently, most
public.
definitely, yeah.
Public very because you were just merrily going along your path, and do you want to carry
Yeah.
on with the story? Really,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
fascinating.
as I say, you meet people on your way. I went away to spiritual developments away from where I lived. I didn't want anybody knowing what I did. I don't know whether I wasn't comfortable sharing because I didn't feel like ready, or I'm not quite sure what it
No,
was.
I get you because I went out with Gary Fields one night to Warwick Castle first time I met him, and his team linked with mine. And I was walking in room for 26 minutes chatting about the spirits were around.
Yeah.
And he did that as a live on YouTube and
Wow.
on his Facebook. I went back to my tent after that event, woke up in the middle of the night, panicking, thinking, oh my God, people will think I'm a medium. And I was scared of that, you know, and
Yeah.
it's weird, like, coming out to say
Yeah,
you're a
but
medium
it's
because,
also an expectation as well that people and people automatically form an opinion and have a perception of you. So you have to be very, very careful as well. You know,
oh
especially
gosh, yeah.
you know with work people or family
Work,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. You know, and there's still a lot of people that probably don't know the extent of what I do.
Yeah, that's right.
They might now, but yeah.
That's
But
it. It's like if you
sorry.
move into a new job, like, well, my job's just changed. Like, we've just got so many interims at the moment, so
Mm,
don't really talk to many people, to be fair. And
yeah.
like, if I sort of went somewhere else, it's how do you mention what you do at a weekend? You
I
know,
mean,
what do you
now I'm
do?
loud and
It's
proud, Jackie. I really am. But at the
but you should
time,
be. You
yeah, I
should be.
wasn't
You
though.
really should.
I didn't have a lot of confidence, and I wouldn't really speak out. And you know, it's such a shame, really, because I feel like I've wasted a lot of time. Because obviously, anybody that's sensitive, medium, psychic, whatever it is, the more you do, the easier your connections. And so I feel like I've wasted quite a lot of time,
Oh,
like
bless you.
just in the back and just getting myself ready. But I suppose really it was probably the best thing for me because I was ready at the time. Obviously, you know what
Yeah, that's
happened.
right. Yeah.
But I felt I was nervous, but I felt like I wanted to move on with my mediumship.
Right. So
Um,
what exactly happened then?
well, I then decided I would go to my local spiritualist church, and that was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made because I met some fabulous people there. In particular, one lady, we just got on so well, and we do little things together. We actually run a little group together as well. I don't know whether she's in, but hello, Rachel, if you're there, I've got to mention her because she
Yeah.
has really helped me accept, if you like. And we've been doing little things together. And she was the one responsible because she took me to my first ever ghost hunt. And I was
Wow.
petrified.
Look, we have
Yeah,
Rachel.
she's there. Hi, hi. I was absolutely petrified. Um, but very quickly got the bug. I
Mm.
think it was on the second one we went on. I met Helen, and I just very casually said to her, "I'd love to do this," and she said, "Well, why don't you then?" And Rachel was like, "Oh yeah, shall we do this?" And that's where it all sort of changed, really. You know, things changed massively for me.
That's right. And what happened?
So I joined a team called Haunted Heritage, um, and we did paranormal investigations. Absolutely fabulous team. And obviously, I only ever went to join them after 2 investigations. So very, very naive in the
Wow.
paranormal field. Yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I'm sort of like learning on the way. And
Yeah.
it's not even been 2 years, Jackie. You know, this is how new I was to it all. Um, and we were going home one night in the car with Mitch and Jill, and they were talking about
And
psychic nights.
they're the co-directors of Haunted
Yeah,
Heritage.
yeah, they're the directors, and they were chatting away and talking about the psychic nights and stuff. And like very casually, do you do anything like this? I said, I read cards. Didn't tell them any more than that. Well, would you like to have a go? So I said, yeah. And
Wow.
Rachel and I went along to an event, and absolutely, again, did cards. Never even went near my mediumship. I was so terrified of facing the public for the first time ever.
Yeah, that's different.
And it is a big step to take. That is, you know, and you've got all these people looking at you, expecting you to connect to spirit automatically, and
Wow.
but only to the person that they actually want you to connect to.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. It's got to. I did a reading for a friend, and I got her mum-in-law through, and not a mum. She wanted a mum, but it's tough, isn't it? You know, it's what
Yeah,
it is.
it is. And I came away from that absolutely buzzing. I was on such a high,
Was
and I
it?
just wanted to do it again and again. So obviously, they gave me the opportunity to do it again and again. But unbeknown to me, Mitch, she actually entered me for a competition,
Oh wow.
which I had to stand up and do a platform mediumship, which I'd never done. So again, threw myself into it. Just
Oh my
trust the
gosh.
process. Threw myself into it, and absolutely delighted to say I came away with the trophy. So
That's fantastic. Now,
well,
how many? Quite a few people went through to the final, didn't they?
yes, I believe so. I mean, it was a long process. There was a lot. I think there was. Yeah, there was a lot. I can't remember exactly how many. And then we were dwindled down to quarter finalists, and then
Right.
finalists. I think there was 8, four on the Saturday, 4 on the Sunday.
Wow.
But yeah, my friends, they all came to support me. It was absolutely fantastic.
Well deserved win, Helen.
But I stood up and my legs were like jelly. I thought, I am never going to get through this. Absolutely terrified I was. But I took a deep breath and put my big girl pants on, as Ben watching will laugh about because they know about the big girl pants. And I went for it. And once I started to talk, the spirit side just flew in, and I just kept talking and talking and talking until I was told that it was
Wow.
finished and that I had to leave the room. Honestly, it was the most surreal moment of my life because that was the start of me doing open mediumship. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah. So obviously I'd met you through, the lessons, and then,
yeah,
when I saw that you got your name down, that was, brilliant. But when you won, wow,
I know I was
that's incredible.
absolutely
So
yeah.
what is it? It was the Jericho Cora Memorial?
It's the Derek Acora Memorial Award. I can't get my words out for new and upcoming mediums.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a platform that Barry set up in memory. Um, as I believe is still very close to Gwen, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually spoke to Gwen yesterday. I got a photo from Tutbury Castle.
Mm.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
Andy said congratulations on your achievement.
Oh, thank you very much, Andy.
Oh,
Um,
it's
but
brilliant. It
yeah, but
really is.
it just gives you a platform. It's just something that you can. Well, for me, it was a bit of a confidence boost. To be honest, it's what I needed. It was the push, but a combination of not just the award. It's having the people behind you supporting you as well that makes such a
Yeah.
difference. You know.
That is the thing about paranormal and the spiritual world as well. It
Yeah.
can be quite caustic, and you've got to be, if you're kind of in the public eye more, then you've got to be careful, haven't you? And if
Yeah.
you've got a good team around you,
Yeah, and I did, and I was very
and,
lucky to
and
have good
that's the
friends.
one, isn't it? And it makes a massive difference.
Yeah,
It's
even
great.
when I was doing my day job, I was always talking about what I wanted to do, and I think my friend Michelle was absolutely. She never doubted me. She listened to everything I
Brilliant.
had to say. She let me go on and on and on. These are the people that allow you to be who you are without questioning you,
That's
and
lovely. Yeah.
it's lovely to have that. Because one of the things, and I will be honest, one of the things I found really hard was I was so new and so naive to it, especially the paranormal side.
Mm.
Um, People's perception was just mind blowing. You know, I found that quite difficult, to be honest.
Yeah.
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 And I'm
Get
sure I'm
you.
not the only one that's felt that. Anyone that's like moving or doing different things have
Yeah.
probably felt that at times, It can
Yeah.
be quite a lonely place.
It can, because it's only like with the last few months, really, I've actually felt like I fit in somewhere. It's terrible,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? Like now, I do haunted antique hosting,
Mm.
and then like I've had some people suddenly come around me,
But
and
I think,
we're going to be working together on projects, and I don't know why.
mm,
It's just all of a sudden it's something I've wanted for ages, but I've got a mega trust issue. But oh my
yeah,
gosh,
and
there's
I
so
think
many
as
plans
well,
for the future.
you get to the point where you feel like you shouldn't fit in and you don't have to fit in. And I think that was the big change in me. I went from worrying about what people would say, what people would think, to actually embracing what I was, what I could do, and loving
That's
the
brilliant.
people I had around me. And I mean, my husband, bless him, is the biggest skeptic going. He thinks I'm crackers, you know. And I
Yeah,
get that. I get that.
yeah,
That's it. If a ghost came and slapped him across the cheeks, he wouldn't still say no, that's not paranormal. But what he has seen
thanks, Simon.
is absolute difference of acceptance with myself. And that's
Wow.
been a big change in me, accepting me and not worrying about what other people think and not putting myself in that box anymore. And I think probably the same thing's happening with you, Jacqueline, you know.
Oh, things have changed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like I was in a drama group, been in the drama group 10 years, and then I start on this paranormal route, and they're sort of saying, "You've changed. You know, you're different now." Well, yeah, I've lost my mum and dad. That's part one of it. But yeah, I have
yeah,
changed. And I think because of the spiritual side, it has helped me loads.
yeah.
You know,
And
okay, I don't talk to my mum and dad, you know, but well, he comes through on a cat ball, you know, and like people who sort of complain about cat balls, well, you know,
you've got to love something flashy.
last time I came through Derby Jail, it was an event I was at, the portal to the paranormal, and my dad was coming through on the cat ball, and I knew it was him because I go, "Is it you?" And it will come on.
But it's
Can you
also the
stop it?
feeling. It's not just,
Yeah, the
it's the
energy.
sense. Yeah,
There's
it's
an
the
energy.
feeling of knowing. It's a
There's
knowing, isn't it?
there's a giddy energy around me as well.
Mm.
So I sort of says to him, I says, right, okay, we'll chat later. And then I did the podcast on the Monday night with Mickey York, and I got the cat ball behind me, and it was going ape. It really was on the show. It's like Mickey was like asking me questions about stuff, and that was like flashing yes, I think. So I need to check back on that to see if my dad's been answering questions in that show without us knowing. Because I
Yeah,
was, I was thinking, oh no, I can see it. It's right because it's right behind me. It's like in my face, and it's just fantastic, isn't it? I've
yeah.
got a comment here from Andy. I've got Kay John watching as well.
Oh, okay.
Kay letters, didn't she, all that time ago? So,
No.
Andy, people's perception of what a medium, sensitive, or whatever we may call ourselves shows very different reactions. Some want to believe but won't commit, and some want to commit but won't believe. Some think you're crazy, others play along, and some offer pertinent questions.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that is so true, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
I
And
don't
as
say
a
I'm a medium, but I come out with stuff.
no. And as a medium, if you're doing readings or anything like that, then I can only be the purest form of me that I can be whilst doing that reading. And I just
Yeah.
hope that whoever receives a reading from me just goes away happy. And it's not. I like to. It's not that I want to prove, because, like you say, people have their own opinions. It's not my place to change people's opinions. But I just love that moment for me when when you get that little bit of detail that they
Mhm.
know absolutely you would never know, and you can just see their face. I mean, I don't like to see people cry, but
This this is
it's
my
not
problem.
nice.
This
Yeah,
is a
it's
big
not
problem
nice.
for me.
But that's the ultimate moment, and you can see it in their face and their
Yeah,
emotions, and that's when you know as a medium that you've done your absolute best.
yeah,
We can all talk about grandma's baking and granddad's in their shed, which is absolutely fine. I'm not knocking anybody because we've all
yeah.
got grandmas that bake and
That's
granddads
right.
that
Yeah,
go in the shed. But it's
yeah,
when you find that little tiny detail that means that so special to that person. And this is why I wanted to do paranormal. This is why I wanted to see if I could have the same ability when I went out with a team or with my friends to see whether I could connect in the same way. And let me tell you,
yeah,
it's not the same. It's so much harder.
yeah. Oh, it's just fascinating though, and it is different because I've got an issue doing readings. Okay, and okay, I was hosting at Tutbury Castle the other day. I got a group of 14 people with me. I was down the torture chamber.
Mm.
A family member came through with this lady. We're doing human pendulum. I got something in my head. I came out with it. She instantly cried.
Oh.
And oh God. And this is why I keep away from personal
Mm.
because, I've had it in classes where I've come out and I've got information. And that's why I'd rather do it at sort of ghost hunting level.
Yeah.
Well, the paranormal side, because nobody's like attached. Nobody has feelings to
No.
spirits around. But then I find, like with Haunted Antiques now, when I host there, we go into the seance room, and that is where family members are coming through. And it
Yeah.
seems that a lot of people don't always intend to go on that night, but they've been like, for some reason, they've booked on, or they weren't supposed to be coming.
Yeah.
And, suddenly there for, they're coming with a mate or something. And it's then that their family member comes through.
Yeah.
And it's kind of for a reason, isn't it? So now when we host, we know generally in that room, the spirits let the family members come through, and it's intriguing, isn't it? It's wonderful.
It's amazing. And they will come through. If they can find their way through to their loved ones, they will take that opportunity.
That's
and
right.
Even when I'm out with Haunted Heritage, if you're opening up a spirit board, you can't stop these spirits from coming through. Obviously, ultimately, we're there to prove or try and find something to connect to the building and the history of the building. That's what we're there for. But then if you get a spirit that actually makes their way through, you can't deny. You have to. I have to, as a medium.
Yeah,
I have
you need
to pass that on. That's my job. That's what I do. And sometimes, like you say, Jackie, it doesn't feel appropriate when you're on the public events.
It is a difficult one.
Try not to get in that headspace. But Jill and Mitch are very supportive. They've been very supportive. They've been good. They've been really good to me.
Yeah, it's a great team. Like, wow. I've been sort of joining them for quite a while because they've got some beautiful locations in and around the Midlands, so East West Midlands. Go as far as Peterborough now, don't they? And Duntattershall Castle.
Yeah, they're branching out. They're always finding new places.
Yeah, that's it. And they've just been in some like beautiful country homes and things like that.
Fascinating, and that's what I love. I mean, for me, it's not just about let's get into a dark, cold building. See what we can find. I mean, the chance to be able to go on the roof at Wollerton Hall in the middle of the night. I mean, you would never get to do that, would you? Normally.
You know what I was doing the other night? I was a bit fed up and I was going through my photos and thought I need to sort those photos out. And I've actually got them on my timeline. I've hidden them from view, but I've actually got them on my timeline to actually do a little write-up because, I have got photos from the roof. It was dark when I got up there, but that room at the top is gorgeous, isn't it?
And you wouldn't get to do that as a paying member of the public to go into Wollerton Hall.
I've actually volunteered there. There was a project where they got the dinosaurs of China. So they got, I don't know how long for, a year or so. They've got some exhibition from China where they've got a great big dinosaur, obviously. And we took a animatronic dinosaur around. So I went to, I think, an academy. We went to a museum in, Melton Mowbray. I got into Splendour Festival for free. With a dinosaur.
Nice.
And things like that. So we took this dinosaur out and about. Somebody's wearing it. I had a little go in it as well. Oh my gosh. You got like no vision. You got this thing what sticks out the front and the back, and then you got kids coming along and trying to jump off a tail. But like when you're walking with a dinosaur, and I've also, so I was at Wollerton then, but I also I volunteered to do Halloween. So I was dressed as a witch, and I said to them, "Oh, I'll go and sit down the bottom." So right at the bottom, you've got like it's a bath. It's like a tunnel, like, isn't it? And just right under the basement of the building, it's dark, it's damp.
Yeah, it is very damp.
And I said, "Oh, I'll go down there and hide from the children." And they said, "Oh no, you don't want to. It's horrible." No, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. So I was there for about half an hour waiting for the kids to come. So then,
I'm not quite that brave yet.
Go around the end and then jump out on them. It's cool.
No, I'm not that brave yet.
They all did, but they got Halloween what they wanted, and it's fun.
Oh, great stuff.
I'm
the one that always gets lost, Jackie. I always get lost.
I'm brilliant at getting lost. Oh, my first public event, I was invited to work at Drakelow Tunnels, and I used to hate caves, and I used to get lost in like 5.5 miles of tunnels down there. You know what
On
I
your
mean?
own.
Well, I was working. It was
Okay.
a tryout with Dust Till Dawn at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and things happened,
Mm.
and I didn't get invited back because we had a bit of an issue.
Oh dear.
So some guests were taking photos, and we're at the back trying to move everyone on, and they
Mm.
finished taking photos, and we didn't know where to go after it. So you look up and down, and you can't see, and you couldn't hear anyone, and
No.
so
No,
we kind of
okay.
we lost the group.
I do get a bit jittery still, but I put it down to that I'm still relatively new to it all. I don't
Yeah.
know many people that would join a paranormal team after 2 events.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah, that's it. I did. I went to a few events and got invited on a team, but it weren't up to much, to be fair. And
mm.
yeah, I did sort of leave.
But you do meet fascinating people along the way.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh, yeah. I've met everyone watching. Like if not in person, I've met you to talk to you.
yeah.
And it's just fascinating, isn't it? And without
Mm.
paranormal and without the lockdown, I wouldn't be doing this.
And it's so lovely to go out. Recently been out with a friend who's also in the team, and we were having lunch and we were just sat chatting. An hour and a half had passed, and we were like, oh, "Okay, let's order some food."
Yeah,
It just flows, doesn't it? Because it's lovely to embrace the fact that you've got people who you can talk to about what you actually love.
that's right.
Yeah.
And you can have a conversation. Like I ended up somebody had an issue, and I ended up phoning them last night, and she's got an issue with the house, and
Mm.
actually Rachel is going to come and we're going to go and sort it out. So yeah,
Well, we'll
and
try.
we will, and I've sort of gathered. I'm picking up kind of what's going on, and it's like she was worried who she could talk to, and by talking to me, it's the first time she could actually talk to somebody without
Mm.
people taking the mickey or
Yeah,
thinking
that's
she was
it.
mad and stuff like that. And like I used to say to my friends, here's what happened, but you just have to go with it because this happened, and you always had
Yeah.
reasoning before you started a conversation. This happened, but I know it sounds weird. But with
Mm.
paranormal peeps, you go, yeah, I did this and this happened, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's random as hell, but
Mm.
it
But
happened. But it's just fascinating, isn't it?
it is.
Love to investigate Edinburgh vaults. Oh
Oh
my
gosh,
god,
there's
yeah.
so many places I'm not even like the caves that you were just talking about, Draco caves. I don't think you can go down there now, can you?
Drakelow, no, it's
No.
I'm pleased. I think I've been down there 3-4
Mm.
times, and oh my gosh, there's something dark down there.
Oh.
It was
Well,
wonderful.
I've come a long way. When I first went out with my friend, and she showed me a cat ball, and we just the two of us. We just stood at this little railway station. I was absolutely terrified.
Oh
And I was
god, yeah,
staring at this cat ball, waiting for something to happen. And in my head, I had already played out the scene of when it lit up or when it rolled. That would be it. I'd scream, I'd run,
yeah,
And you know what? When it actually lit up, and then it was lighting up to demand, if you like, as talking to
yeah,
it, I felt so privileged.
yeah.
I really felt privileged because it was a different connection. It was not. I wasn't like trying to connect to family or anything like that. I
There
was
you go,
just.
remember?
I'm trying not to throw you in under the bus here, Rachel, but you keep commenting that yes, you
Oh,
remember,
bless you.
and she'll say to you, she is completely the person that pushed me in that way.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's strange how you go from being frightened to actually loving it. And I think that the old Hollywood saying is absolutely true. You
yeah.
are scared by what you see and what you're conditioned to see on the telly. When
That's
in
the one,
actual
isn't it?
fact, yeah, it's not like that at all, is it?
No, all these things are supposed to be scary, aren't they?
Mm.
And yeah, like Andy wants to do the investigation of the Edinburgh vaults. He wants to meet Boots. I was due to
Oh.
go there. I got a trip, I got a flight, hotel, and everything. The Easter of COVID, and
Uh,
that was it. I
mm.
was just, but I was going to meet Wes Coleman there, and a guy from Scotland as well, and Colin Connor as well. So a few of us were meeting up. We hadn't met before, and yeah, it just went disastrously wrong, unfortunately. And
Wasn't meant to be then, was it?
no, it's weird, isn't it? It was just that time, and I don't. You speak to these people at that time, and then you lose touch with some of them now, don't you? And it's weird, isn't it? I think one's more into doing his chef stuff now, rather than you don't see him do a lot of paranormal, and it's just different. It was a time, and it's changed and moved on, hasn't it?
It has.
And things do move on quite a lot in life. Like Yvonne says, it's nice when you meet your soul tribe, and I don't know what's happened this time, but something's really changed for me very recently, and I know it has. And I don't know, and I've done my book, and it's not my. Oh, okay. I've also I had an issue with my past life, and a lot of me said that I was locked in with. I was tied by my past life, and I didn't even know what they're on about.
Yeah, quite a fascinating subject, that, isn't it?
I didn't actually have a clue about it. And yet, when I went to a National Justice Museum, what did you say to me?
It says you've got him attached to you.
Yeah, but who was it?
The judge.
Yeah, Rachel didn't even know. I used to work for the judge in a past life.
She came back into the base room, didn't you? And I was like, "Oh, Jackie, you've got somebody with you." Yeah.
Oh, he was the right one, yeah. But me and it, I've got to watch it because when I talk about him, he comes. I think he's trying now.
But this was another reason why I wanted to do more paranormal, because for me, I've met a few people over the years that, everything was dark, everything had red eyes, everything made you feel poorly and sick, and I'm not saying this does not happen. It's just probably very lucky that I haven't encountered that yet. And like, I want to encounter it, but I don't know whether I do. Because it's a belief thing. Not, I'm saying, everyone's opinions are different. But I want to sort of cross that line. Night, Helen. I want to sort of.
Or it was a good night at the galleries. I'm not sure now. But yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. It's also like new experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've kind of got more like I never wanted to go down the dark route, but obviously where I do host, there are some like darker elements there, and it's just so fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, and
really,
I've not encountered it yet. So for me, I don't know how I'm going to react when I do, or if I do. I don't know. Watch this space. I'll let you know when I do.
Yeah, there's some evil spirits who come through. Is that classed as dark? But then you've got some other weird stuff.
Yeah, there is, and I mean, my belief is if
bless you. Positive feedback on your senses.
Again, for me, if you are not a nice person while you're on the earth plane, you're not going to be a nice person when you pass, and that's something I get asked quite a lot as a medium, and people are coming through, and you really feel like you should be saying, well, wasn't he lovely? And when actually, if you do that, you're not really giving the true essence of who you've got, because they wouldn't recognise that person. So this is where you have to be quite careful with your wording, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's also like the terminology of something as well. Like, I know, like when sort of Barry John's done sort of demonstrations, he's kind of said like, he sometimes comes out with this really random phrase, this random word, and yet the person receiving it gets it. Yeah. But to him, or you, it won't make sense what you're saying.
No, and you'll often probably say, don't know why I'm saying this, but I've got to tell you this. And to me, it absolutely means nothing. But it's not for me, so it shouldn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, that's it. Because I was at Tutbury again the other night in the torture chamber, and we've got somebody come through, and I said, were you a serving wench? And all of a sudden, the atmosphere was like somebody was a bit upset by me saying that. Okay. But then I rephrased it going, did a gentleman call you a serving wench? And it was
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, I'd got that in my head for a reason, because it's not the sort of thing you get in a torture chamber, is it?
No.
It
Definitely not. No.
the year was 18 something anyway, so it was
Mm.
after, it'd been used for that, because obviously whenever you go to a location, everyone thinks about like the old history and stuff, but like I've been to Derby Jail and I've actually picked up the nightclub. I picked up something what happened at the nightclub, which I need to try and validate.
Yeah, and it's strange you should say that, because I was at Leicester Castle at the weekend, and I didn't really know much. Mitch will tell you, I'm not the great with history. I'm one of these that likes to go in and find things out for myself, but I have to try and remind myself that I'm actually not the guest. So,
Oh yeah.
but we were there, and I didn't know much about the witch trials. I knew it had happened. But I got the sense that these witches were burnt. And we had somebody showing us round who said, no, that's not right. They were put in the water, and if they didn't drown, they were hung. So I was like,
A
oh.
ducking stool, wasn't it? Or something?
Yeah, I was quite shocked by that, because I had this real strong sense. And anyway, when I put it in the group chat, Mitch said, well, actually, no, they did burn them until such and such a date. So, again, you have to trust in yourself and what you're getting, because these random thoughts that pop in your head, they're not your thoughts. They've been put there by spirit. So again, it comes down to trust.
Yeah. And it is random. It is totally random. It's like you get a name, you get a date. Like if you are on anybody out there who goes up to paranormal events investigating, if you just get someone says, oh, do you know the name? And you get a name pop in your head, and it's not your boyfriend, your wife, whatever,
go with it.
Just go with it, because actually it means something. And it could be relevant, and then you could there and then find out more information from that.
Definitely. And this goes for everybody, whether you're doing events or going to events. We all sense it. We all sense the change in the room. We all sense when spirit comes close to us. And it's whether we choose to believe our own senses, if you like. You can tell instantly you walk in the room. Some quicker than others, don't get me wrong. But some people feel dizzy, some people feel sick. This is spirit coming close to you in one way or another.
Right,
all, absolutely, every single one of us has the ability to connect to spirit.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, a lot of us lose it between like child and adulthood. Through the teenage years, we're conditioned, if you like, to well, it was the door slamming, it was the wind, and we just accept.
That's me.
Just accept it, We don't just think, oh, who did that? Whereas like now, I'm like, ooh, was that the wind?
I'm the one that I put something on the table 2 hours ago, and it falls off, and it's like, oh yeah, it must be gravity. But like one day it was a bit heavier than normal, and that did worry me, and that was last week. But like I've got 2 dolls in there. Oh, which you need to meet, Rachel.
Oh,
yeah. 2 dolls, a mirror, and a little bag of goodies. Yeah, you need to meet these. Yeah, I think you've met. No, you haven't. We might have done psychometry on a call, so yeah, he might have. But we'll see. But yeah, it's just a fascinating world, isn't it? And nobody knows everything, and there's so much you don't know.
Nobody knows everything.
No. And you're forever learning, aren't you?
Oh, every day.
Yeah. Because I think I was taught something on Saturday, because I don't know, I'm so used to hosting at one particular place, then you go somewhere else, and it's really kind of a bit too intense for the public. It's weird, and like I'm so used to. Yeah, so it's like, wow, this shouldn't be that intense, surely. But but a lot of people got personal encounters and personal experiences that night, and yeah, it's great though, isn't it?
love it. And I just want to do more and more now. I've just, the more I do, the more I want to do. And that's both paranormal and spiritual work. I just
That's right.
absolutely, yeah, I want to do it full time. Just can't afford it.
Well, this is the one. It's just so fascinating. It really is. And like at the moment, because my situation, like weekends are really keeping me going, and I'm buzzing from Saturday night still. You
Oh,
know,
bless
it's
you.
kept me happy today, which is good. I don't know how long it can can carry on, but and I think I'm hosting on Saturday, so. But yeah, I'm hosting a teen event, so
Oh,
it's a chance in safe surroundings for people to try things.
okay,
And the reaction when they come into the sort of event is different from when they leave. There's a lot of
definitely.
giggling, nervousness, and everything, and then
Yeah.
afterwards, it's like, yeah, this is and obviously it's ones who are interested. The parents are with them as well, and it's all
Mm.
done. We won't let anything too much happen, sort of thing, and we know we'll sort of sort things out. But yeah, it's just fascinating, isn't it?
And it's probably a good thing as well that,
Evening.
you're bringing people in at a younger age because, that's where I believe I lost my ability a little bit, if you like.
Yeah,
So if you can capture people's attention before their minds are conditioned, if you like. I'm not saying that's what
yeah,
happens to everybody, but we do. We just crack on with life, don't we?
yeah. Well,
We're
that's
growing
it.
up, we're doing things, and then we get married and we have children, and then bang,
That's
all of a
right.
sudden you're just like, oh,
What happened? Yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
But the thing is, as well, a lot of these children who come along, they've like had spiritual encounters anyway,
Mm,
so it gives them like sort of a better understanding, and a realization of,
yeah.
it's lovely when you see and when you speak to them, and yeah,
But some of the
it's
TV
really,
programs now as well, I think, are responsible for igniting people's passion and wanting to find
yeah,
out more. When you're talking to people, they're like, "Oh, I watch all the shows," and like, so do you know what this does? This bit of equipment does, and they're like, "Oh, yes, I've seen it on
yeah,
this show or this show." So we're getting more awareness, not only that way, but people are actually starting to get fascinated by the subject of
that's it.
paranormal. You know.
And then you've got people bringing more kit than you've got.
Yeah.
So you're hosting an event, and then somebody's got like loads of
Mm,
bags, and like that, they've got a lot more than you. And yeah,
mm.
but then I do take equipment. Sorry, the dog's snoring in the background badly.
Yeah, and I think also nowadays, teenagers, because of the shows, their interest is ignited a little earlier.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
and again, we can capture these before they lose their ability to connect to spirit.
But also, it stops them going to the park and messing around with a board, or just doing, having a drink and just being silly, doesn't
Mm.
it?
Which is
That.
something I did do as a teenager. I was a very naughty teenager.
Yeah. Did you have a
Yeah.
few drinks with mates and
No,
then do more of
I
the thing?
shouldn't really tell this story because
Okay.
you'll probably either judge me or laugh, one or the
No,
other.
oh, come on. We've all
Uh,
done things as kids, haven't we?
I was babysitting,
Right.
and as soon as they were out and the kids were in bed, my friends came round and we set a Ouija board up in the
Yeah.
kitchen. The paper
As you
and
would. Yeah.
glass, as you do.
As you do.
And we were busy doing this spirit board, Ouija board, whatever you'd like to call it. And all of a sudden, the glass really took on a life of its own, and we were laughing with each other. You're pushing it, you're pushing it, you're
Yeah.
pushing it. And the next thing, it shot off the table,
Oops.
smashed against the wall, and a second later, and I mean a second later, the little boy upstairs screamed out. So I
Ooh.
ran upstairs, and I'll
God.
never forget this as long as I live. I ran upstairs into the bedroom to see, and he said, "There's a man walking around my room. There's a man walking around my room," and that taught me a massive lesson,
Yeah. Oh my
massive,
God.
massive
Yeah.
lesson. And I didn't touch the spirit board for a long, long time after that.
Oh wow. But
Mm.
you just don't. But you try things and you're bound to. And
Hmm.
wow, that's a
Yeah,
lesson, isn't it?
that is a big lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't really touch them. Like, I'd seen them at events, but I was like,
Mm.
I was just so weird. I was kind of, Yeah, I was too weary, really.
Yeah, and
And
again, that's the Hollywood. It's a tool. It's no
yeah,
different to
that's
using
right.
cards
It
or,
isn't. No, no.
it's a different communication tool. But you have to respect it and you have to
But
understand,
you
and
have to respect everything.
you do, and you
Whether
can
it,
feel
whatever
the
you do,
energy.
you've got to respect everything, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now this one is it's all about learning protection.
Mm.
Do you protect?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it. Um, yeah, I'm better at protection than I am at grounding. I'm opening
Yeah.
and closing. I think when you talk to different mediums, they all have different perceptions. I mean, I'm open all the time. I don't use this term closing down.
Yeah.
Not saying it's not. It's just not for me. It's just how I am and how I
Everyone
work.
is different, and everyone's got
They
their own
are.
views on it, and
But I've
you.
learnt again the hard way. There's been several occasions where I've been on a paranormal investigation, and
I
I think
know.
you've seen it.
How
A
was
couple of
that?
other people have seen it, and I thought it was me slipping into trance or something like that. But I think actually I'm
Yeah.
being overshadowed because I've started
No,
to
no,
learn
it's further
about
than that.
trance.
It was
Yeah,
further.
yeah,
You weren't with
um,
it. You
yeah.
weren't on this planet, put it that way. Yeah, it's
So
true.
that teaches you another lesson. So I'm very more aware now when I go on public events to protect myself, me personally,
Yeah,
and put things in place to stop that from happening. Because the last thing you want to do is terrify the guests, isn't it?
yeah.
You
I
know,
think there is a time when you do this where
yeah,
I don't know if it's because I was doing mediumship or because I was doing paranormal. There was a
mm,
time when I was getting overshadowed a lot,
mm,
and I managed to get out of it. But now I know when it's coming,
yeah,
and I'm ready
yeah,
for it, and I let it happen. That's the way I
yeah.
work. I do let it.
And
That's how,
if I was out with you,
oh yeah, we go for it and play.
go out
Yeah,
to play. But
yeah.
now I am very aware.
Events you can't,
Right,
events you've got to keep them at bay, and
right,
that's that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So setting intentions actually has been a new thing for me because I was
that's
never
good.
very good at it.
Yeah,
And again, my wonderful friends have hounded it into me. Have you set your intentions? Have you protected yourself? And and whether it works or not, I recently saw a lady who made me a spray that when I come away from paranormal events,
I had one. Yeah,
and like it might be a little thing, but it makes me feel better. I just give myself a
that's
spray
right.
before I go in the house, and I'm a little like, you go now, leave me be. Yeah, that's as far as I go generally. But I quite
Yeah.
like the fact that if I wake in the night and there's someone that's wanting to say something to me, I quite like that still.
Oh, bless
So
you. Yeah.
yeah,
As long as it doesn't disturb your sleep too much. I
no,
kind of feel like I just kind of feel something stops things for me.
mm,
I just leave it to them to sort it out. But I
yeah,
have had moments when things have attached themselves,
yeah,
and I won't realise because I'll just be tired and think, oh, I've been tired now for 2 weeks.
yeah.
Like, what's going on now? And then,
That
yeah.
would be me, Jackie. I wouldn't have a clue.
No, you
I
just think,
just
oh, I feel shocking. Oh, I feel shocking. And
yeah,
then, like, 2 weeks later, oh,
mm,
okay, there's something different here. This is,
mm,
and as long as you know it's not a medical, and it's a difference between knowing it's a medical thing and not knowing it's a medical thing as well, because
yeah,
obviously there's a lot of medical conditions where you are tired.
yes,
And, but I find that if I have a Himalayan rock salt bath,
mm,
it absolutely stinks because it's
yeah,
sulfur, but it works. It works for
yeah,
me. And then all of a sudden you feel alert and you're with it and like, oh, okay. And
yeah,
it can make a big difference.
mm,
Uh, yeah. I thought my path was like I was losing my mediumship. I tried a couple of meditations and they've worked. So
I
that's why
do believe that your
I
mediumship is definitely stronger at certain points in your life, most definitely. And there's times where it will go away from you as well. When
yeah,
spirit are respectful to us too, and they will know if like recently, as you know, I've had an operation.
yeah,
And like, oh, make sure you close yourself down. This is your time. And I
Mm,
didn't. I didn't close myself down because I know that spirit are respectful to us as well, and they will stand back. Um, and they will give you that time to recover. And I mean, those of you that are familiar with the term sitting in the power, you will know that you can ask your spirit team, guides, whoever is around you, to step back if you need them to, and you probably wouldn't need to ask anyway. But yeah,
yeah, certainly got something coming in now. It's freezing around me. So I don't know what, I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure what you know about crystal. So, what crystal would you say is best for protection?
well, I always like to carry black obsidian. As usual, ladies, we stuff them down our bras when we go out. But I don't underestimate rose quartz as well. I think the two together, work really well. I'm not massively into the crystals and what they can do, but I just generally go with how they feel in my
Yeah,
hands, and then I try pairing them and see how they feel. But generally, always take black obsidian with me.
that's cool. Do you leave it on a windowsill or anything
Oh,
for
I'm a
full moon?
weirdo. I value my crystals at full moon.
Yeah. No, well, no, and a lot of people do. And I
Yeah,
actually put mine out on the windowsill for full moon, and they're still there.
yeah. Especially if it's raining, I'll bury them, and then I'll put them out in the rain to clean them, and then
Yeah.
they'll come in.
I think I
Um,
want a little bit of garden where I can put my crystals just there in the
mm,
garden, just to have a little
yeah, I think
area.
also just the fact that if you've got something in your pocket, or if you're feeling a little bit tense or a little bit nervous, it's just something for you to hold on to and just feel the energy from the crystals. Basically, can just help you calm a little bit.
Yeah, so Terry's a
Mm,
great medium as well. I met her at the great, oh gosh, what's it called? Smethwick Baths.
mm.
Oh my gosh, what an awesome location. So
Oh.
Terry picked up on the craze before I was in the
Oh
room,
wow. Yeah.
but then I saw one
Oh,
dragging a guy across the floor,
crikey.
and more than that. And they always say if you want to go down the mediumship route, make sure you do. Don't just say
Mm,
it, because if you do, and then you start seeing things, like
mm.
you can see things that aren't pretty.
Yeah.
If you had some really horrible images come through and you think, I don't want to see that.
I guess this is where like my intentions come in now because
Ah,
I mean obviously with my normal job I see
smoky
things that
quartz.
yeah Rachel will know all about her crystals better.
Ah,
Um, with my normal job I can see some quite unpleasant things. So I don't tend to pick too much negativity up when I do mediumship. But again, I think this is about intentions. Again,
yeah.
when I sit, I don't want to see any negativity really,
Yeah, yeah,
unless it's relevant to
definitely.
the reader, to the person I'm reading. But
That's
certainly,
right.
I don't want to see things that have happened to children,
That's
stuff
right.
like that. And that's not to say that I won't
People
get
don't want
it.
to. People don't want that in a reading, do they?
No.
They want something. Okay, though. But if they've got their father or whatever coming through who's not good, so then
Yeah.
you get specific bits really to validate who that is, and
Mm.
probably a bit on the relationship without actually going down too much detail. But it's
Yeah, and
just
I
enough
got
to
that one
validate,
night.
isn't it?
I was doing a psychic table night and quite happily going around the table. And I got to this young lady, and I was very aware that I'd got her father with me. And then he took great delight in showing me what he used to do. And obviously, at the time, I was very shocked.
Oh God.
Again, very naive to everything.
Oh gosh.
And I actually froze, and she looked at me and she went, "You know what you did, don't you?" And I was like, "I can't continue this reading.
Yeah.
It's making me go
Oh
cold
my
now thinking
gosh.
about
Yeah,
it."
yeah.
And
Oh
I says,
wow.
"If you don't mind, I'll talk to you after." And she said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that's fine." But he would not let his grip go on me, and the whole night was disastrous. And I had to
Wow.
seek advice from somebody a little bit more knowledge than me about how to deal with it because I hadn't encountered it. But
Yeah.
again, it's all learning curves, isn't it?
It
And
is.
this is why I'm so fortunate to have these people around me. You know.
Yeah. It's like, wow, about 8 years ago. Well, 10, no, say 10. I didn't really know any mediums, and I didn't really believe in it. And then now I've got so many friends who are mediums, and at that, the good mediums, and it's there, it's genuine ones. If anyone isn't, and I don't have anything to do with them. Oh wow, that's
Mm.
cool, Chris.
Yeah,
As
how
long as you
lucky
can
are you?
handle it, as long as it doesn't get too much, so you've got to be in control of the situation at all times,
Definitely.
haven't you?
But also, they'll come to you when in your sleep. A lot of people will say, "Oh, well, I dreamt about my mum last night, and it
Yeah,
felt so real. I could almost feel her touching me,
that's
kissing
beautiful
me."
when you get a
And
visitation dream, isn't it?
yeah, but they don't realise this is what's happening, and I just
Yeah.
think, "Oh, bless you." And when you actually tell them about visitation dreams, and you know, it's such a comfort to them. You know.
Oh, yeah. This is Terry. She's got a damn good point here. A few years back, had a lady who had a reading from a medium. They told her husband's in a coffin before summer. She was a wreck. She still comes to
Oh,
see me. And yeah, he's still here
mm,
after 6 years.
yeah,
And you've got
definitely,
to have
Terry.
responsibility. And
Yeah,
so many aren't. And
yeah,
you have got a
yeah.
responsibility. You're screwing around with people's lives, aren't you?
Exactly.
You know,
And I always make sure as well. I mean, if I ever saw anything like that, I certainly wouldn't be passing that information on.
you can't. No.
No. But also, you've got to make sure as well that your sitter's comfortable with everything you say, and that you also say to them, every reading I do, I say to them, doesn't matter what I say to you today, your destiny is your destiny. You choose your path.
That's right.
I'm not here to control your future. Even if I'm doing cards, it'll be, these are guidance cards. These are
Yeah.
telling me these. I don't use cards the same way as most people use cards. I use them to, as a comfort tool, if you like, a little bit sometimes, just to help me get a stronger connection.
Definitely.
And I say to them, what you're seeing here, you all might see, like, for example, if I use color cards for psychic connections. If I turn the black over, everybody goes, and why are we having this reaction?
Yeah.
Your perception of the card is different from mine, which is why I always say to people, you are in charge of your future, you're in charge of your destiny. I am
Yeah.
here just to help you connect to the spirit world, and these are helping me to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When I used to do cards, I had them, but then I'd just go off on it anyway. You know
Yeah,
what I
well, I
mean?
didn't do them, and then now I'm finding that I love my psychic color cards. They really help me to
Yeah.
connect to people on a
That
psychic
helps.
level.
It's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. But then I'd sort of did training where I didn't use cards.
Mm.
So it's just coming out with stuff without the cards, and that was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
different, And
Yeah.
you just find the way what suits you, don't you? Really, and
Yeah. And some
you
people
know,
like a little bit more if you're getting a no, a no, a no, a no, because like some people do come to you because they want to hear from one specific person,
yeah,
and they will not accept anything other than that.
and
So it
yeah,
can be a little bit of distraction as well for them to take them away from that mindset, which I find quite nice as well. And it
yeah,
also helps people to relax because I work with energy, and if I've got someone sat there going, it's not going to work for me. And I'll
no,
say to them, the more you give me, I don't want you to tell me who they are, where they were
yeah.
born,
You
all
just
that.
want that's
Just
it.
talk to me. Just let me hear your voice. Let them hear your voice because
Yeah,
they're excited at the sound of the voice. It's not for me always.
yeah. Obviously, like you go and see a medium, you're not going to say, "Oh yeah," and then carry on and elaborate because you want to hear what the medium's
So,
saying. But
some people do. You have to stop them and just say, "Don't give me any more. Just wait."
But
Yeah.
from my perspective, you've got to
Mm.
listen, and then if
Yeah.
you can, you confirm.
Mm.
And that's it, isn't it? Oh
But
yeah,
it's
that's
also
right.
it's also making the public understand as well that it's a three-way conversation. I'm
Yeah,
hearing, seeing, feeling, whichever of the stronger
yeah,
senses kicking in, and then I have to work out like how to give that across so they know what it is. But sometimes I put my hands up. And sometimes I don't quite get it right, and if they say no, 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 then you have to take that time and just say, just give me a minute. I'll just
yeah,
go back. Let me get this right for you. And if it's still a no, then I just say to them, well, I'm really sorry. I can only give you what I am being given.
Yeah.
Please just think about what I've said. And normally by the time they've gone home, they've remembered it.
They realise.
But then they miss the rest of the reading because they're sat there going,
Yeah. Now,
So,
I've got an example of this. So I went to see a medium for a laugh. A group of friends, we went, and this woman stood on stage, a medium. She mentioned a family who've got a lot of military history. Where the person had signed up when he was too young, joined the army. He died on one of the beaches. He's too young to join. He lied. He went over to France fighting. He died on a beach. And she came out with my granddad's name as well. But I remember everything she said. About 2 years later, my nephew did a school project. And always as children, there's a death penny in the conservatory in my gran and granddad's bungalow. And we always wondered who he was. And we never knew. And when we were kids, you weren't allowed to ask questions, were you? The things, but you never, it was always in the house and it would have been too rude to ask. So we never did. But my nephew actually found out who he was. And he's my granddad's brother. And that medium actually came out with his story. So it's weird
how amazing that
yeah,
she could
and
do
like
that.
I think her mistake was like she gave a large area and she kind of went towards a certain person, and actually it was me. And and maybe if she'd sort of specifically headed more towards me, I would have gone, yeah, but I think it's because she said, oh, your family's from a military background. Well, not really, but then my granddad was in the Grenadier Guards. He joined up early. Obviously, my dad and everybody of that age had to sign up for national service. So, yeah, I guess it was military, wasn't it? But, we don't see it's military now because, like, it's not as if we're in the forces or, my mum and dad were, But yeah,
this is what I was saying earlier about when a medium gets that tiny little bit that just slots everything into place. And had she have mentioned a coin, and then that would have been like, whoa, that would have been a mind-blowing moment for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was just, it's my nephew and like, oh my God, and then I told my sister all about it. And Terry, it's the ones who sit arms crossed and say, go on then, tell me.
Yeah, there's a few of them, Terry, isn't there? But, again, a wonderful feeling when they leave, they're different people to when they arrive.
Definitely, yeah.
And that's not my doing, that's spirit.
That's the spirit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just like, oh, I don't do it because people cry, but actually sometimes that's what they need, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've had people crying on me, and it did bother me, and yeah.
If people laugh or people cry, then you've generally done your job as a medium because your reading has meant something to them.
Yeah.
It's not about me. When I sit there.
Oh, no, I get you. Terry loves to make them cry, but you're right.
Yeah.
It's because they do need it, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Because you've hit the nail on the head with them.
You've hit the nail on the head, yeah.
You know that they've made that connection too, and that they are feeling their spirit, their family, their loved ones around them as well. And that's not down to me. This is where I think a lot of mediums, were saying that there is some shocking mediums out there. We all know this, and I'm not putting anybody down in any way. But one thing I think you must understand truly as a medium is it's not about you. It really is not about you. It's about how you get from there to your sitter. And that's what makes it special.
The wording is so important though, isn't it? Oh my gosh, and terminology and stuff like that. And it is such a responsibility. And
nowadays, especially when you've got people with big mental health issues, they come to you sometimes because they feel you can help counsel or guide them with their life. So you have to be careful with, that these aren't being taken advantage of.
That's right.
At the end of the day, most people seek out a medium for private readings because something traumatic has happened to them and they want to speak to somebody.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's what you need to be respectful of.
Yeah, that's right. Yvonne says 9 times out of 10, spirit have led them to go seek a medium and don't realise this until afterwards. And
Spot
that's what
on,
happens.
Yvonne. Yeah.
That's what happens when I'm hosting. You know, sometimes people will go and they're going to paranormal, and then their family will come through, and it's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Very
considering that
much.
a lot of mediums aren't insured for cittering themselves safely. Oh,
Mm.
that's a big thing within the paranormal field as well, isn't it? Mediums and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've got to say it's for like entertainment purposes only as well, to cover yourself, and
Which is a shame, really, isn't it? But
because
yes, you
it's
do.
not,
It's
it's a
the
serious, you know,
culture of
it is
today's
serious, isn't
culture.
it? You know, and
Yeah.
you know, it's not a TV show. It's just
Mm.
life and it's reality, isn't it? And yeah, it's a shame that, but yeah, you just got to cover yourself. But yeah, I've got event insurance because I do host at locations, so
Yeah, and you
just
say, I mean,
book some and
the society today, we are a culture of, we like to see people, don't we?
well, that's right. I know
So,
it stopped me drive. I used to I drove somebody to a football match, and she said that she'd fallen in a park and broke her ankle and sued the council. I thought she ain't coming in my car again. You know, and it's true though, isn't it? You're not going
yeah,
to risk it. It's damage
yeah,
limitation, isn't it? She, you
definitely.
know damn well she's your friend, but if something happens in that car,
Yeah, some
it's
people
all
just
about the
see
money,
pound
isn't it?
signs.
No, but you know, you do learn, and
Mm,
yeah, I did sort of warn a location owner as well that it's great, but you know, you've got to ask about insurance. You know, just cover yourself because he doesn't want it coming on his, does he?
no, definitely
You
not.
know, like insurance costs enough anyway, but that a team, especially like some will mess about as well. You know, like the people I associate are they're respectful. You know, and
And that's what
they
it
are
boils
great.
down to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. But if you get somebody causing trouble, you know, you just don't know, do you?
No, you don't, unfortunately. You
Yeah.
don't.
So, what has been your most scary encounter on paranormal then?
I think it would have to be, was it Grizzly Hall?
Ah,
Yeah, I think that's been the most. Obviously, as a medium, when I'm doing paranormal, you do pick up, like I was saying with the witches earlier.
yeah,
But this one really took me by surprise. So I'm a big fan of still sitting and waiting to see what happens. I love all the flashy gadgets and everything
I
like that.
like
But
more
I
of the
ultimately
energy and
love just to
staying around.
sit quietly.
Yeah.
So I encouraged the group to sit quietly, and we were doing EVP session, and all of a sudden I became aware of a heavy set man in the corner of the room, and soon came to realise that he was a monk or a priest. I wasn't quite sure because I couldn't see him,
Wow, that makes
but
sense. Yeah.
but as the vision got stronger and the sense got stronger, I knew he then was a monk. But I very quickly realised that there was nothing really religious about him at all. He was a very nasty man,
Wow.
and particularly with children. And I happened to say to the group how I was feeling, and one of the guests was saying, "Well, you know, don't pick on children or women. Come and talk to me about it if you've got something to say." And I was like, "Please don't antagonise spirit." But at this point, he got up and was wandering around the edges because we were sat around the table, just
Yeah.
wandering around and wandering around. You can hear movement on the
Hmm.
EVP. Then he stopped, and in my ear, I heard the biggest growl. And you did hear it on the EVP.
Oh God.
And I was like, "Oh, I don't like this, but I can't run because I've got people sat here with me." And I think that was probably the most unnerving because I felt
Yeah.
like I felt really vulnerable.
Yeah.
But also I couldn't let other people know how I was feeling. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, then let's finish this session and move on somewhere else. But you know, also you feel like you need to deal with it, but obviously it's not my place to deal with it. So
That's it. I haven't met him, but I've had some great encounters at Gresley.
yeah,
It's
it's a
one of
great
those.
place.
It is.
Yeah.
It's usually consistent. Something usually comes through. We
Mm.
have had a dark energy there before, which was
Oh, okay.
it's very
Yeah.
nasty, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was a heavy night.
Yeah.
But there are links to a monastery with that place as well, because the
Oh, well, there
bricks
you go.
in the building are from a monastery.
Oh, I remember somebody saying it's something to do with the fireplace, isn't it? It's got the bricks from an old monastery.
Something, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a monastery or something.
yeah.
So
But the old
yeah,
schoolhouse at Colville as well, I find that quite a fascinating
I've not
thing.
been there, have
Yeah,
I? No, I haven't.
yeah,
But yeah, just
yeah.
some incredible places, and you don't even have a clue. Like you'll go somewhere, and like there's a old schoolhouse in a little village near Melton, Obury,
Mm.
and you think, oh, school, we're going to get kids. No, we got a druid.
Really?
We got this druid through it all, and he was that powerful. He made us all ill for a week.
Oh, no,
It
that's
was
not good.
madness, and we went back, and I'd like
Mm.
to go back there. I'll have to try and sort that one out. But you just have no idea what is around.
Mm.
You really don't. Oh
Mm.
God, Grace Dew, yeah, I love it there. Yeah.
I've actually not been.
Well, you going this year, Helen? Helen,
They're
you
gone.
going this year?
I've driven past it lots at night,
Yeah,
and there's quite a few times I just feel like I don't want to look in the mirror when I'm driving. You know, you get
yeah.
that sort of
You
feeling
going?
as you
Yeah,
go past.
yeah.
But
Meet you there.
actually, I've never been. It's not far
Yeah, we're
from me
going,
either.
Rachel. No, we're meeting. Going there. I don't know why I called you Helen. I was going to ask you a question from Helen. That's why I was getting confused.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever held off from telling people anything as it's too heavy what came through?
That's a really good question, Helen. I think you have to find your way in and a gentle way of saying the way it's come across.
Mm,
So yeah, it depends what it is. I mean, if I'm being made aware that my sitter's poorly and that spirit are very close around her, then I probably wouldn't say that, but I would say something along the lines of spirit telling me you've not been feeling too well lately. They're encouraging you to make sure you get yourself checked, that sort of thing.
yeah.
So it's
So,
it's you can still pass the message that's being given because ultimately that's for us to do, and we can choose what we can
the health
and
one is the dodgy one.
yeah, it's a very difficult one to pass
Yeah.
on. But if it concerns anything going forward, then I tend to skirt around it because
Yeah, that's right.
I always feel that if spirit are giving you, they're giving it you for a reason.
Hmm.
Um, so you
It
do
ended
feel
my
obliged.
something like that actually ended my development lessons
Yeah,
because I'd picked up that this woman had COVID and she was going to get better and start feeling better in the new year.
yeah,
And I said, you've had an illness and you've really been struggling with it,
mm-hmm.
and you're going to pick up and you're going to improve at the turn of the year with spring coming on. I
Yeah,
got absolutely annihilated for
mm,
using the word illness.
yeah.
But
People are
I
very wary of it.
I wouldn't use that as in you're going to be ill.
Yeah,
This was the positive movement.
yeah.
And yeah,
But
I was spot on. She'd had COVID,
yeah,
and
but you can comfort people and say, spirit
yeah,
of
and this
concern, you're not
this
yourself
was what
lately.
this
Yeah,
was what that was about.
yeah,
I did pick up on that, and
mm,
I was right. And
yeah. It
I
is
kind of
difficult
I
sometimes.
ended up quitting really.
Oh,
So
bless you.
that did change my path really. It kind of put me more. I was sort of getting there on personal readings, and then that just destroyed it for
Mm,
me.
yeah,
And
you have
yeah,
to be so careful of because, like you
oh,
say,
I am.
some
I
people
won't.
hang on every word you say, so you have
Yeah,
to be very careful how you
yeah.
deliver your message.
But it was very like you are getting better, and it was
Mm,
all the positive, and it wasn't saying, but that's it, isn't it? It's
mm,
people have different ways of working, and I strongly got told that
mm.
from the person, who was telling me the message, and
Yeah,
it's one of
yeah,
them, and it's.
mm,
I'll still say I got that and I gave it nicely, but I'm old school. Tech's okay in my own right, but often people use it in the wrong way. Yeah. Now don't trust it with AI. Oh gosh,
mm.
AI
We were
is
talking about this the other day.
unreal, isn't it?
Mm,
Yeah, I
mm,
know. Me and Barry Frankish are going to be doing a discussion show.
mm,
It's going to be on a Thursday, maybe this Thursday. Barry's currently got issues with his internet, so it depends on the internet provider, and with storms, it's going to probably delay it. So that's one of the topics, really, about that, because, oh my gosh. And it doesn't even sound like them, that they just splice it into the convo, don't they? They get some footage, put it in there, and there you go. No. Oh. Why try? And why would they ever speak to them anyway? You wouldn't. So yeah, that's
I have just seen while you were talking then, Jackie, I did just pick up on Andy's comment about the spirit guide.
spirit
I'd like
guide.
I'd like to pick that up if that's all right.
I was just about to go on that one, yeah.
The reason I want to pick that up is because anyone within my spiritual circle I'll always say to them, I don't know who my guides are. I really don't know who my guides are. I know I have people around me. I can sense them coming close and away, and I can sense the fact that some are male and some are female. And I've recently started trance work, and I was paired up with somebody, and she did actually go into trance, and the message I received was absolutely amazing. And one of the things that was said to me is, "Why are you so hung up on your guide?" And I was like, well, we're led to believe that we need a guide, or we have a guide, and I know I have a guide. In fact, the little old lady on the stairs I was talking about earlier was actually a guide.
Wow. Okay.
But in this trance state, this medium said to me, your guide is learning alongside you. And that was the best thing I could have heard, because I've really been hung up on that for quite some time. And guides do come and go throughout your life. And where you are in your development. And I also have learned that you pick up different guides for different things. So I will have, because I'm still learning, as I've said to you all tonight.
Oh gosh, we all are.
This is all gone so fast for me. Yes, definitely, Andy, because they did recognise that and identify my guide that night.
Wow.
And to be told that they were stood at the side of me learning, and that I would have a different guide for trance work and a different guide for evidential. And to stop worrying about it, really. As long as I know they're there, that's all that matters, and that my team is with me.
So many say, "Oh, wow, my guide's called this, my guide's called that," and like,
I was so hung up on why do I not know who my guide is? I was so hung up on. And I've also had a lady that's drawn my guide, and I know it's my guide, but I can't say I recognised him to be a guide, but I can't say that I freely see him. It's just a knowing again. So yeah, it's my message. Don't get hung up on your guides, and if you do know who they are, that's brilliant. But my guide is learning alongside me, so.
Yeah, Yvonne got a beautiful drawing of one of her guys just recently. And
from the same lady, I believe, Yvonne. I saw it.
Really?
It was amazing, yeah.
Oh, wow, brilliant. Yeah.
If any of you have ever heard of Jacqueline Struthers, absolutely amazing spirit artist.
Wow, okay.
She came to my house and we sat and blended together. And she drew my guide. So I recognised him, but I didn't know why I recognised him. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's reassuring just knowing they're there, and that's it, isn't it?
And that's all you need to know, Andy, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
you don't need to know. You don't need to know whether you've got whoever it is with you.
Beautiful, Chris. No, I think my mum is mine.
And I can relate to that, Chris, because my dad has started to come in on my readings. When I do demos, my dad has started to come in.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. And I think my dad's around me a lot because obviously, so cat balls. Like when I first did hosting, I get the cat balls that go off all the time because I don't know if your own energy helps a specific part of equipment. And at the time, it's cat balls, and I think it's because maybe whoever is around you, it can kind of prefers one way of communication. So whatever energy, whatever your guide is, then it's their method of communication. So you kind of find some people get loads of EVPs.
Yeah.
I was getting the cat ball go off all the time. And now I've changed how I do things, and it's weird. And is it a different guide coming in? And is that why I slowly go down the light energy route, and it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You
And again,
know,
it's all about energy.
I have changed. Yeah,
Yeah, I believe that too, Terry.
we're all
Amazing.
neophytes. We learn till we know the truth, and
Yeah,
then
we're
we're
all
at
one.
one.
Yeah.
Wow, that's strong. That's
Yeah.
powerful. That
It
is.
is, yeah.
Oh,
It is.
Andy's got his brother. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? But
And
yeah, so,
and that's just wonderful, isn't it? That even when they pass, they're
you know,
they're that close. They're very
I've got
interested in what
something
we're
coming
doing.
in this side now, freezing cold.
Yeah.
Like earlier on, it's down here, and now it's, yeah, you just speak, don't you? And you just feel them come round you as well sometimes.
Oh,
She
that's
comes
lovely
and sees,
too.
oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to feel that, isn't it? You know,
Mm.
it is difficult, and you have got to sort of carry on. But oh, cheers for
Mm.
that, Rachel.
Bye,
Um,
Rachel.
got to go, but yeah, we've got to go soon.
Mm.
I believe the Dark Mirror show is going to be on after this on the Things Network. So,
Mm.
but I want to thank everyone for the comments. Rachel, you've been absolutely awesome.
Thank you, darling. Thank
And
you again for having me. I was
no,
very
thank you
nervous.
so much.
All
Oh
these things I
no,
have to do, I'm just getting over my nerves.
oh
So,
bless you. But no, you were fantastic. Yeah,
bless you.
you know, and it's been useful to a lot of people as well. If like a lot will probably watch this on, catch up, but it's great. And this is what this is about, just to find different people's stories.
Yeah, and I
I get
love just connecting to new people and the stories they have to tell. I just love it.
everyone's got some, yeah,
Yeah.
like I had one lady on the show, she doesn't drive because she sees people walking around who are
Mm.
spirits. And then I get somebody on like a few weeks ago who was watching earlier, and she sees them when, and like, wow, and it's there, isn't it?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
you might get something happen with you and it might help somebody else.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
if
But to,
this helps somebody, then that's brilliant.
yeah, the biggest thing I want to say is just be brave. It took me a long time to be brave, and I had to be pushed. Really, I had to really be pushed. So yeah, just
Yeah.
but
And
when your
I
time's
will
right.
push you. I will push you.
Thank you.
Because like for some reason me and Rachel have been put together now.
Definitely,
Um
yeah.
we kind of were going to he was sort of going to meet up a bit last year, weren't we? But things happened and
Yeah.
we obviously it wasn't the right time, but we'll
No.
just go out and about and
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. But if I can just say a big thank you to everyone that's been involved in my path.
Oh bless you.
That's the people I work with alongside with and the people that have supported me. And I very much look forward to all the new people I'm going to meet as well, because every day I'm meeting different people and it's just a fantastic journey that I'm on, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, and you hear of negativity in the paranormal world, but my gosh, it can be wonderful, And
Definitely,
you
yeah.
do meet these wonderful people.
Mm.
So take care, everyone. Look after yourself. Have a good night and good week. And I may speak again on Thursday with Barry Frankish. I'll put something up if that's happening. If not, then next Monday. Then. Oh, bless you. Thanks a lot, Andy.
Thank you,
Okay, take
Andy.
care, everyone. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.